All right, y'all, part two of building our operations plan. So in the last video, we talked about updating our books and making sure that our budget is square and good to go. I also gave you all a workaround, assuming for saying that you're just starting your business and you didn't know how to fully bake out your budget. You didn't know exactly what your expenses were going to be for the year. And we started talking about our burn rate. Now we're going to talk about how does that burn rate help inform our pricing model. Let me jump over here to the spreadsheet. So our burn rate for our business is $2,000 a day. You might be asking yourself, how in the world did you end up with that number? Well, pretty straightforward. In our budget, we assumed that our sales goal for the year was $700,000, which also meant that we had to assume what our profitability target was because we didn't have our budget fully baked out yet. That left us with an expense threshold of $525,000 for that year, assuming that we hit the $700,000 sales goal in that calendar year. You take that $525,000 worth of expenses that you can spend, assuming that you want to hit a 25% net profit margin, and you divide it by however many working days you have in that year. For the US, Monday through Friday, on average, it's about 261 days per year. So we took that 525,000 divided by 261, and we ended up with $2,000. So what I know in order to run a healthy business is my business needs to make a little over $2,000 per day. This is super helpful now that we can go back and look at how we price our products and services to better understand where we need to be. So here you'll see a real small list of just some anonymized data. We have 4 services, service number 1, 2, 3, and 4. This could be anything from tire repair to website design to skin care, aesthetics, whatever it is that you do for your business. This example will work for all of you. So assume with me for a second that the first thing that you do for your customer costs them $1,000. That's what you charge them for $1,000. And assume with me for a second that that's all you did or had to do for that day. You know that you have less or approximately half of a day to get that done in order to hit that time threshold of making sure that you're still profitable. If you go above that time threshold or you charge under that $1,000 for that service, you're going to be losing profitability. So that should inform you that the 2 main ways to raise profitability is, 1, get faster at what you do, whether that's outsourcing some of it, utilizing technology, hiring a staff member, whatever it is, you need to get faster at it while maintaining your quality. And number 2, this isn't an or, this is an and, you can also increase your pricing. Okay, so I spend a lot of time talking with entrepreneurs, and the first time we sit down and we look at their pricing list, I ask them, how did you come to these numbers? How did you arrive at $1,000 for a site map, or $2,000 for brake repair, whatever it is, right, that you're doing? How did you know? And a lot of times the answer that I get is they just looked at who else was in town that did a similar thing, or at least that's what they thought, and took their pricing and used that and said that's good enough. Okay. The problem with that is those businesses aren't running your business, meaning they're not running your profit and loss statement. They're not managing your overhead. They don't know what you're paying your employees. They don't know what your rent costs. They don't know how much your health care is, right? Those types of things. And that's why I really like burn rates, because it helps inform contextually to your specific business how you need to price what you do. And so if you look at this service and you go, man, that takes way longer normally than half a day, right? If I put my whole agency at it, then the conversation needs to unfold as to what needs to happen with this particular service. And so lots of different things you can do. Now, if you want an additional 25% on top of that price, right? If you think the price needs to go up, you just multiply that number times 1.25. If you want a 50%, it's times 1.5. If you want 75%, 1.75. Whatever the percent additional profitability you want, it's 1 point, whatever that percent is. So if it's a 67% increase in that price that you want, it's times 1.67, and so on. Okay, and this follows down for the rest of the services. So you understand it. Different pricing takes different amount of time, or you have different time thresholds in order to maintain that profitability. Additionally, it's also good to do the same exercise if we think about if I'm growing my business and I'm increasing my burn, right? How would those numbers look against my pricing? Um, Price sensitivity is a big deal, and at the time of this recording, we're going through some pretty hefty inflationary times, approximately 8% or so on the consumer price index. And so lots of folks are price sensitive these days. So you really want to be thoughtful about when you're increasing pricing and why, and what's the value to the customer for you doing that. And we'll talk even some nuts and bolts about how to best do that with the conversations that are already happening, right? And so we'll do that in the next video.